everybody, and welcome back to Will Commentate Suzuran Puyo Fair. As said before, I am your host Will, and this will be Darnell versus Dusty. Same tournament, different round. A grudge match, if you will. A quick 2-chain from Dusty. Ooh, that's... Oh, okay. I was about to say that is an extension decision that I don't know if I agree with Darnell, but the way that Darnell went about it was the correct way. And that means that Darnell has a spectacular 11-chain, while Dusty will have to hope that Fever saves Dusty. God damn it! Talking about someone without trying not to use pronouns is very difficult. It's just you're so used to using pronouns that when you are not allowed to use them, you just crash out. Just as Maguro is about to crash out because Dusty was not able to set off anything in Fever, which means that that garbage is going to instantly drop down, and Dusty also didn't have any resources on the normal mode, which means that the first point will go to Darnell yet again. Dusty, that's not going to chain. Dusty, that's not going to chain! Well, let's see if you build forwards in the chain. You'll have a phenomenal chain, and that's main. Set off and ready to go. And Darnell has a little bit more extension that actually cuts the chain, which means that Darnell's gonna have to hope that Fever is able to... Never mind, it still counters. And with Dusty and myself caught off guard, it means that the second point also goes to Darnell. Right, just as I did with Lolo and Void, should probably give my opinions of these players. Darnell, I feel like he came out of nowhere and just started being in people's faces. Like, not in an inherently bad way, more in a you need to watch out for me, otherwise you are going to die. Which I find very strange, and I'm kinda jealous. And Dusty, my co-staff of Carbacle's Corner that I've actually haven't staffed in a while, and I will help one of these days. Just today is not the day. Because last Carbacle's Corner, I fucking fell asleep. Right. Main chain from both players. Let's see which one beats the others. It's probably Darnell's, considering that Dusty's chain doesn't exist. Fever might save Dusty. We shall see. That extension actually extends. Wow. Congratulations. Probably not in the way that Dusty was envisioning, and Dusty also has no resources on main board, which means that he's not able to get back into Fever, which is unfortunate because he still had things to counter, and that makes Darnell's third point be a reality, but still, good extension, I think. This is exactly what I'm talking about by the Puyos will just not agree with you and you'll have to freestyle from there. Dusty now has to be very careful where and in which specific position Dusty puts the Puyos, because otherwise Dusty's entire chain will just not work. A quick 3 from Dusty. Those greens are not going to connect later on. Dang it. Another 3 from 4, apologies, from Dusty that leads Darnell to set off main. Not it's the big 11 that we've seen to know this match, but still a great 8 that sets Darnell into fever. Once again, those greens will not connect, which means that Dusty will also be in fever. A bold extension that actually doesn't amount to anything on Darnell's board, which is unfortunate. And Darnell's time in fever is out, but Dusty's is almost ending. And then Dusty just gets absolutely destroyed because the Puyo RNG decided that Dusty should die, which means that it's yet another point for Darnell and match point. Wait, is it match point? Because we're halfway done. It's only showing that we're halfway done. What will happen? I feel like with fever, more than the normal mode, calls on your ability of being able to just turn anything into a chain. Because of the drop sets, like sure you can pick a drop set that helps you. There will be times where a piece of drop set will come up that you really didn't want to come up and you'll just have to figure out where you're supposed to put it. And I feel like that is a skill that more people should have. What this means is more people should play Fever. And if you want to play Fever, then you should join Suzuran Puyo Fair. God damn it, self-plugging is shameless, and I'm going to continue doing it. Darnell just cut their entire extension, which is very sad because it was very good, and then just decides to soft drop their piece to death. Okay. Another point for Dusty, and let me continue the plugging. If you are interested in Puyo but are bored of simply doing the same boring Tsu every day in day out, then the Suzuran Puyo Fair is the tournament space for you, because Suzuran Puyo Fair is dedicated to showing off more unusual styles of Puyo that may have been forgotten by the rest of the competitive scene. So if you're interested in this more just the different styles of Puyo, of playing Puyo that are just not Tsu, then I suggest that you join and participate in one of the tournaments that they have. Or well, that we have, considering that I'm part of staff. And anyway, main from both. Dusty's cuts a little bit at the end, but it's still a very nice 10, which Darnell is not able to counter, which means that Darnell has to step up in Fever. A 2 double into a 3 to put even more pressure on Darnell. Darnell is barely not able to counter everything and has a 4 ready and waiting for him when he is done. Which means that Darnell is now on top of the board and Dusty just needs to set off a good 5 or 6 chain to take home the win. However, this is Fever. So Darnell could always just call on the powers of Fever to just somehow pull it off and win the match. It's still in the table, especially if Darnell is able to get into Fever just as he did. However, it is slightly less likely if that happens. Darnell is cutting his fever chain, which means that now it is shorter, and now he needs to hurry up, and is able to set off another fever chain. However, Dusty sets off a 4 to counter some of the garbage that he would negate. But now Dusty has to deal with 4 lines of garbage, just as Dusty once sent to Darnell. I feel like I'm both talking too much and not talking enough for commentary. Dusty's going to fever just to shut me the fuck up. Darnell is still struggling at the top of the board, not really being able to make a leeway to get down. And unfortunate, without any resources, Darnell must simply concede the point to Dusty. Well, not exactly with no resources, more like with all his resources blocked. A little bit of recording error. Nobody noticed, it's fine. Who cares anyway? Not me. Now let's see how Dusty's gonna be able to continue those yellows. Especially if Dusty does that for the tail. A 2 to set off to help a little bit, and then main it goes. And that is a fever for Dusty, but an all clear for Darnell. Dusty is unfortunately only able to set off his 7 chain on fever, and without any resources on main board, it seems that this match has come to an end, as Darnell takes yet another win. Now we'll just have to wait for next tournament to get the grudge match between these two. Why the fuck did I do that loud? What the hell?